Attention fans! A very important update has just been released, and you'll be able to find out all the details right now. But first, a quick message, and one that makes all the difference for us to continue this work every day. If you're not subscribed to our channel yet, take advantage of this moment and click the subscribe button. And of course, don't forget to leave your like. This really helps our channel to grow and continue bringing you everything about the Detroit Lions. Now let's get straight to the news. The Detroit Lions have just made a decision that took some by surprise, but for others, it was just a matter of time. Quarterback Jake Fromm has officially been cut by the franchise. This marks another chapter in the 26-year-old's up-and-down journey, which has seen him play for several teams since entering the NFL in 2020. Fromm was a fifth-round pick by the Buffalo Bills, coming from the traditional University of Georgia, but his professional career has been marked by constant movement, without being able to establish himself as a fundamental piece in any of the teams he has been on. After a brief stint as a starter for the Giants in 2021 and a season on the Lions practice squad, he is now, once again, out of the roster. Since his arrival in Detroit, Fromm has faced a difficult path to gain a place. Despite being signed after being released by the Washington Commanders, he ended up being cut before the season started. Still, the Lions opted to bring him back to the practice squad, giving the player another chance. On the field, his statistics were not encouraging. In 2021, playing for the Giants, he participated in 3 games, throwing for 210 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Modest numbers that didn't help him stay competitive in the race for a spot. The Lions' decision reinforces the franchise's focus on strengthening more critical positions for the future. And quarterback is clearly not the team's biggest problem right now. And speaking of the future, fans' eyes are already turning to the NFL Draft, where the Lions could surprise with the first-round pick. A new mock draft by Dalton Wasserman of Pro Football Focus suggested something unexpected. With the 28th pick, the Detroit Lions could bet on defensive tackle TJ Sanders from South Carolina. That's right. A position that, in theory, is well filled currently, but that could become a very real problem as early as 2026. Detroit's defensive line currently has names like DJ Reader and Levi Onwuzurike as starters. In addition to the expected return of Alim McNeill, they also brought in Roy Lopez to add depth. But almost all of those contracts expire at the end of next season. And the most telling detail, Onwuzurike had his contract renewed for just 1 year, a clear sign that the franchise still has doubts about his long-term continuity. TJ Sanders, on the other hand, could represent a strategic investment thinking about the future of the defense. In the last 2 seasons in the NCAA, he accumulated 93 tackles, 17 for loss of yards, and at least 4 sacks in each year. Numbers that earned him honors as a member of the All-SEC second team. Sanders is an explosive player with the ability to penetrate the opposing offensive line and disrupt any running or passing plan through the middle of the line. His selection may seem redundant now, but it makes a lot of sense when we project the team's needs beyond 2025. In addition, Reader will turn 31 this summer, and ensuring a smooth transition with a promising youngster like Sanders from now on could be the difference between maintaining a dominant defense or facing a drop in production in the team's most physical sector. The big question now is, will the Lions prioritize solving a problem in the present or anticipate a headache in the future? With an increasingly competitive and ambitious roster, Detroit seems to be thinking ahead. And Sanders could be the perfect piece to fit that puzzle in the long term. Stay tuned, because the draft season promises to shake up the direction of the NFC North's most promising franchise. It's official. The Detroit Lions have just signed a historic contract with one of the pillars of their defense. After weeks of anticipation and speculation, the board decided to act. And did so in style. Safety Kerby Joseph, a name that has been fundamental in the franchise's defensive reconstruction, has just become the highest-paid safety in NFL history. That's right. We're not just talking about recognition for what he's done, but a clear bet on the future of the Lions' defense. Joseph will pocket no less than $86 million over 4 years, surpassing Antoine Winfield Jr.'s previous record by almost $2 million. It's a bold move, and more than deserved. Kerby Joseph has shown that he's not just another prospect. In 2024, he exploded. The number 31 led the league with 9 interceptions, added 12 passes defended, and 83 tackles. An impressive number for someone who plays in the backfield. His impact was so great that he was selected to the All-Pro First Team, and even finished 6th in the Defensive Player of the Year voting. We're talking about a player who, in just 3 seasons, became the heart of the Lions secondary. With this renewal, the team not only secures talent, but stability. What's more, it forms the best safeties duo in the NFL alongside Brian Branch, at least until the end of his rookie contract. While fans celebrate this huge renewal, the focus is starting to turn to the 2025 draft. And if there's one thing Brad Holmes knows how to do, it's find hidden talent. In this next class, there are names that are out of the spotlight, but who can produce a lot on the field. One of them is Savion Jones, edge rusher from LSU. He still needs to develop his repertoire of moves, but he has an explosion that reminds us, and a lot, of James Houston. With more technique, he could be a lethal weapon coming in the 4th round. He's the kind of player who comes in hungry and can grow under coach Casey Rogers. Another name to keep an eye on is cornerback, Jabbar Muhammad from Oregon. A guy who may not have the ideal physical stats. He's 5'10" and 185 pounds. But he makes up for it with aggression and intelligence. In 2024, he was a wall. He allowed just 46.8% of passes completed in his direction and had 10 pass deflections. Yes, teams literally avoided throwing balls in his direction. He's the kind of player with a fighting mentality, like Amik Robertson, who could be a hidden gem late on day 3. And finally, let's talk about Jackson Slater, offensive guard from Sacramento State. He may be an FCS school, but this guy's a technical monster. Over the last 2 seasons, he's allowed just 13 pressures and no sacks. A rare feat, even at the highest levels of football. Slater has everything it takes to be that project that, with a transition year, becomes the future of the Lions' offensive line. A surefire 5th-round pick that could yield much more than expected. Stay tuned, because the next steps for the Detroit Lions are increasingly exciting. A huge renewal, promising prospects, and a board that shows they know what they're doing. The future is now, and the Lions are roaring louder than ever. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think the Lions were right to give the biggest contract in history to a safety like Kerby Joseph? Does he really deserve this status, or could the team have invested that amount in another, more needy position? In my opinion, Joseph proved on the field that he is a fundamental piece of this defense. A true playmaker with reading the game and impact in decisive moments. Paying a lot for talent is risky, but paying for consistency and leadership can be the key to building a dominant defense. But now it's up to you. Tell me in the comments, do you agree with this historic renewal, or do you think it was an exaggeration? I want to see what everyone thinks, because this discussion is going to be fruitful. See you soon.